Hey y'all, my name is Dr. Bianca Nightingale Lee, and I am an assistant professor in the College of Education here at FAU. I'm so excited to talk to you today about hip hop, and more importantly, the 5 elements of hip hop. So a little bit about me. My research centers around critical literacy, humanizing pedagogy, and hip hop, where I examine how to create learning experiences that push students to think critically by using hip hop as a social justice text. So I grew up in the 80s, which is known as the golden era of hip hop. This was just when hip hop as a genre of music started to become a growing phenomenon in the US. I consider myself a student of hip hop as I continue to learn more about the culture every single day. So I come to you today to share a little bit about the history and the culture of hip hop, to have a candid conversation with you about the origins and its impact on a global scale. So if you claim to be a hip hop head, or a true lover of hip-hop, not just someone who listens to hip-hop to feel cool when you're driving in the car. If you really love hip-hop and fully want to understand the utility and power of this rich art form, you have to understand the 5 elements of hip-hop, which ground the phenomenon. Let's talk more about them here. Hip-hop as a genre of music originated with DJ Kool Herc, known as the father of hip-hop, in the Bronx in 1970s, as well as DJ African Bambaataa of the Hip Hop Collective Zulu Nation, who outlined the 5 elements of hip hop, which are MCing, DJing, b-boying, graffiti, and knowledge. So we're going to talk more about these 5 elements later, but before then, I want to give you a little bit of an understanding of the origins of hip hop. So while hip hop is known as an American art form, its roots derive from Africa, West Africa to be exact. So let me explain. Traditional West African kingdoms had highly trained storytellers called griots that would recount tales of local heroic and adventures around the campfires to their subjects. This was acknowledged as an oral art, arguably the first appearance of emceeing or rapping as we know it today. Griots were very skilled orators trained to memorize and recite large amount of information concerning family trees, historical events, through rhythm, rhyme, and repetition. So now that we know a little bit more about the origins of true hip-hop, let's fast forward to the 1970s. In the 1970s, hip-hop was created as a form of self-expression and resistance by African American and Puerto Rican youth residing in the South Bronx of New York. Back then, hip-hop was used as social commentary about the systemic poverty, racism, and realities of living in the ghetto, which overall captured what it was like to live as second-class citizens in America. Hip-hop was political, it was racial, it was gritty, and was powerful as it served as an art form that more appropriately spoke to the lived realities of Black and Latinx folks living in urban areas. The youth would use their everyday realities as the backdrop for their raps, sharing their experiences through rapping, rhyming, dancing, art, and DJing served as a form of oral expression, which I stated earlier has West African diasporic roots. While hip-hop started in the early 1970s, it didn't rise to national popularity until 1979 in the United States with the release of the Sugar Hill Gang song, Rapper's Delight. And so if you don't know the song Rapper's Delight, maybe if I recite it for you, you'll remember it. You've probably heard it in some way, shape, or form. So it starts off by saying, hip, hop, a hit to the hip hop, and you don't stop to rock it to the bang bang boogie. Sit up, jumps the boogie to the rhythm of the boogity beat. Now what you hear is not a test, I'm rapping to the beat. I'm going to stop here because I am definitely not an MC, but I did want to share that with you because this song, Rapper's Delight, was monumental in putting hip-hop on the map. Within weeks of its release, Rapper's Delight had become a chart-topping phenomenon and given its name to a new genre of music known as hip-hop. While DJ Kool Herc and African Bambaataa and the Zulu Nation were the godfathers of hip-hop in the 1970s, these individuals found mainstream success within helped to make the art form a common feature in the music scene. So the major pioneers of hip-hop in the mainstream music were again Sugar Hill Gang, we have Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, and finally Curtis Blow and the Cold Crush Brothers. What hip-hop did back in the day was to serve as a voice for the voiceless and allow young Black and brown people, such as myself, to feel like we had purpose and relevance in society that barely made room for us in the media. Hip-hop songs became like text that we put out for the world to read. which focused on a street-based reality that was real, hard-hitting, and in your face. Back in the day, personally, I used to listen to Queen Latifah, MC Light, Money Love, and Roxanne as they would talk about what it meant to be a strong, proud, and beautiful Black woman. I would bob my head to fine LL Cool J's smooth yet bold sounds of love and street reality. I would get funky with the syncopated rhythms and beats of De La Soul as they rapped about the loving of the self through their track, Me, Myself, and I. And I would raise my fist high, listening to the hard-hitting beats and rhymes of MCs like Eric Sermon, KRS-One, Rakim, and Public Enemy as they talked about Black pride, self-love, and fighting the power. Since its inception in the late 70s and early 80s, hip-hop has changed tremendously. The iterations of hip-hop you hear today, for me, feel like a watered-down version of hip-hop I used to know and love. However, don't get it twisted. I still listen to hip-hop. I still rock with it today and find solace in listening to artists like Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Chica, Rhapsody, and other conscious and underground MCs. Now, over 40 years later, hip-hop is much more than just a genre of music. It's a movement. It's its own culture. It's a lifestyle that has made global impact, and that it is the most popular genre of music in the world today. Hip-hop has taken on various iterations and has evolved into an international phenomenon that is now created by people in almost every single country. Even while it continues to develop globally, the 5 foundational elements of hip-hop still remain as the cornerstone of hip-hop culture.
Check. Thank y'all so much for having us. We are Wazi Queso. I go by the name of Jiggy Queso, and this is...
I go by the name of Wazi Shade, and right now you're watching the Elements of Hip Hop.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all for having us up here once again. And honestly, we just gonna get right into it. We could just start spitting some freestyles, acapella. So
let's do it, man.
Yeah,
show them what you got.
So this right here is off Mohawk, and I say life isn't perfect. Nobody told me that I had a purpose. I had to work it. Brand new chick like NASCAR swerving. Brand new chick, new bag that's Birkin. I never switching for real. I'm never tripping for real. I never need it. Ballin' like MJ cause I had to beat it. I feel like Kobe, I had to repeat it. I got me a ring or two. I want another. She want a ring, but she mess with his brother. I want to sing, but it's rapping my hustle. I never flex, but I work off the mess of the legend of deity. If I don't see you, ain't no seeing me. And she call me Poppy like Ben Aki. And I keep it player, I keep it G. What you say, Shay?
Off for the muscle, I get it. I got a habit of winning.
Okay.
Boy, I be stepping, my mind is aggressive. These others be moving too timid. Rapping my team like a penny. These people be moving like tenants. Like Papa, I get to the spinach. If you disrespect it, expect it, I come for the finish. Breaking all barriers in my way. Homie get shook, real ones go shake. Been through the worst, all I know is don't flake. Cause when you start running, the other ones taking place. Deep in the game like it's TNT. When it comes to my pen, I'm a deity. Had to keep her away for serenity. But is she a 10, she my tendency. You thought it was easy, just watch it from TV. I ball like I'm taking my own me, I want my respect. Walk and come right through the chaos to see what's the payoff. I give you the one and you next. All I'm hearing was a fable. You cut from the cable, a virus I disinfected. Secret weapon, I'm the answer. Don't question the work that I put in the job injected in my veins, yeah.
You was gonna stop? My bad. I thought you was gonna keep going. But that's all bull walking. Honestly, once again, we go by Wazi Queso. I'm from New York, from Queens, and you from
Miami-Dade County.
Yeah, man, we got 2 different cultures going, but we come together for the vibes, for the music. So, might as well. Oh, go ahead, my bad.
Yeah, man, another thing about elements of hip hop is used to create stars in the limelight and put them in the forefront. Yeah, so we got a song called Stars that we're gonna spit some acapella to. And it go a little something like this.
Go ahead.
Hydrogen and carbon becoming a star. You mix helium and oxygen, it's what we are. See, I stopped playing it safe, I came revolt. Raising pressure on these boys like they eating salt. Ill, never been the one clutching the steel. But I got hitters for real, told me to focus on your dreams. Go secure the deal, funny how life separated us, but we made it heal. Get into the bag until we got it sealed. I delivered on many occasions. So if you bet against the kid, tell me what you waging. They got these boys on the stream with they puppet faces. I've been running up the score without tying my laces. See, they got no jerk. They been drowning up the reservoir. Honing on my skills, got a couple on my repertoire. Welcome to the seminar, I'm headed to the summit. If I ain't know my numbers, but I still be 100.
I said I'm Looking at the sky, see my family. Looking at the money like I want yourself to marry me. Never been the type to let another rapper carry me. I'm always on my casualty, you better move it carefully. I'm actually a masterpiece. Match inside a bag of leaves, higher than the bag of tree. The answer when they asking me. I would never hate a rapper getting to the egg and cheese. But boy, they capping like they not as wavy as the 7 C's. Give me all you got and I'ma turn you to a character. Yeah, panties pink, but her lingerie was lavender. Eating all these other rappers, game is full of scavengers and savages. On my boy, they tryna beat the averages. And this is kinda magic. When I catch it, then I pass it like a mic, I gotta have it. Admit that I'm an addict for the stuff that I'm attracted. I'ma pick it up and bag it, flip the bag and acrobatic, then I give it to the masses. Yes. Sheesh, I gotta take a breath after that one. I'm tired. You trying to do the little back and forth, or you want to run some?
Wait. I don't need no glory for no man, this my own man. Homie get funny in front of cameras like he Conan. Every beat is case closed, never leave it open. Raw to the core, these boys something like Trojan.
And I ain't fearing no man, this beef boy I go ham. I eat this in romance, I peep this no week boy. This rap over sleep, I drip over deep boy. I drop, never keep this, I beat this, repeat this.
I repeat, whoa, never got too deep, whoa. Game was out here flying, so I had to cover leaks. Running through these boys like a giant, but it's Z. Future, I be seeing how these boys looking seasick.
Sick of who? Look at what I grew into. Looking at my future like it's never been this beautiful. Had to cut them off cause all that hating wasn't mutual. Boy, they probably hate me cause the waviness unusual. It's unusual.
I would never bow down. I'm getting to this child now. Homie locked up my dreams. They looking like some cows now. Milking every moment, treat this game like a cow now. Only looking down and said we built it from the ground now.
I say ground up, you bow down. It's lunchtime, I chow down. I laugh light and smile now. Crack pipe the style now. Half pint the grind now. You blind by the shine now. They staring at our watches cause they know that it's our time now. Wazi Queso, check us out. WaziQueso.com. WASIKESO.com. Instagram, Twitter. Once again, FAU MP, appreciate y'all for having us. Are we all good? Good. Appreciate y'all.
Chill.
The fourth element of hip hop is called MCing, also known as lyricist, rhyming, the artist, or rapper. So MCing can stand for two things. One, it can stand for Masters of Ceremony or Mic Controller. So back in the day, the MC worked with the DJ to get the crowd motivated, and he or she did this by saying a few lines over the beat. So while in the beginning, the DJ did all of the scratching and mixing, the MC would come in to get the crowd hyped up, right? So it started off as just a few lines that the MC would say, but then it developed over time into longer forms of rhymes and then became a modern term to identify a rapper. So an MC must be able to perform in front of a live audience and come up with rhymes on the spot, as opposed to previously written rhymes. Again, we can think about MCs as the griots of our time, as they use their rhythmic and rhyming skills to tell a story, battle against other MCs, or perform to entertain an audience. I think it's so cool to think about hip-hop as a West African ancestral art form because it helps you understand its importance to community, collectivism, and culture. Speaking about dance, we're going to go right into the very third element of hip-hop, which is breaking or breakdancing, also known as b-boying, b-girling, breakboying, bong, and breakdancing. So breakdancing is the dance element of hip-hop, a style of dance that included a repertoire of acrobatic and occasional airborne moves, including gravity-defying head spins and backspins. The term breaking was coined by DJ Kool Herc. As mentioned before, hip-hop was a blend of many musical genres, including funk. One of the most direct influence in the emergence of breakdancing was James Brown's 1969 hit song, Get on the Good Foot. In the video, Brown does a dance called the Good Foot, which was a fast-paced dance which required a lot of stamina and athleticism. Breakdancers at the time would battle one another with their dancing and good foot techniques, and they usually did this during the break of the song. And again, the break is when there were no lyrics, just the beat of the music. Hence the term break dancers. Contests developed in which the best dancers created break dances and would battle each other in circles. However, these battles were non-violent and were an extension of self-expression.
What's going on, guys? I hope you guys are having fun so far with this little piece that we brought to you right now. We're gonna bring you now one of the elements of hip hop, the dance element, break dancing. So check it out. We're about to get down. Here we go.
Oh, you screw you too, oh, you through. That's how we doing the Zoom is so. Oh, you screw you too, oh, you through. That's how we doing the Zoom is so. Dedicated to all the DJs and dance crews all over the world.
The second element that we're going to talk about of hip hop is called DJing, also known as turntablists, turntablism, mixing, cutting, scratching, and spinning. Now, let's be clear. What you may know of DJing today is built on a device called a sound machine or a performance pad, which is a small rectangular device that has different square pads, and then when you push them, they make different sounds. While the performance pad is an innovative spin on DJing, it is not considered a true form of DJing. The art of true DJing, is prolific and powerful, and is one of the reasons why hip-hop is what it is today. The spinning, the mixing, the scratching, having a musical ear, and really understanding musical theory and how to combine beats seamlessly is not only important to create great music, but to understand that so many cultures and sounds can blend and bring people together. True DJing is when you have a turntable, right? And you have records and you're scratching and you're mixing them. The performance pad is dope, but it is not true DJing. The first major hip-hop DJ was DJ Kool Herc, an 18-year-old immigrant who introduced the huge sound system of his native Jamaica to inner-city parties. Using two turntables, he melded percussive fragments from older records with popular dance songs to create a continuous flow of music. Kool Herc and other pioneering hip-hop DJs such as Grand Wizard Theodore, Africa Bambaataa, and Grandmaster Flash isolated and extended the breakbeat. Now, the breakbeat is the part of the dance record where all the sounds drop out except for the drums, stimulating improvisational dance.
Yo, what is going on, FAU, Florida Atlantic University? What is good? I'm going to give you a little pound virtually. So for all of you guys watching from home, give me a little pound. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Sung Beats. That's Sungbeats. And I'm bringing something a little bit different today. My talent is called beatboxing, which is sort of the unofficial fifth element of hip-hop. I know it's also knowledge. It could be other things. But I like to think it's beatboxing because I love the art form. So I'm going to show you guys some cool beats that I make. I'm also going to show you guys what this device in front of me is. This is called a loop station, and I'll get to it in a minute. A little bit about myself. I've been beatboxing for 17 years. I remember the day when I first discovered it. I was watching a dude from Florida, actually, making some crazy sounds with his mouth that I did not think were possible humanly. And then I watched that video maybe like 200 times, and I was like, man, this is the thing that I love. I want to learn this as soon as possible and impress all my friends. And that's exactly what I did. Unfortunately, I was horrible at it in the beginning. Just gotta admit it, I was really bad. Everybody in class used to make fun of me and told me to stop, but I was really passionate about it and kept going, and persevering through all the struggles, well through college and even beyond. And now I'm actually doing this professionally for a living, which is one of the greatest pleasures. So with that being said, I'm going to demonstrate a little bit of beatboxing without the loop station. So it's just going to be me and the machine, just the microphone, and that's it. Hope y'all dig. Listen. Throw your hands up. Young Money. Make some noise out there, you. Come on, clap. Come on, clap. Let's go. Let's go. All right, that's beatboxing for you guys. Woo! Let me catch my breath real quick. All right, FAU. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Is it the owls? Owls, okay. I'll refer to you guys as the owls. So that's what I've been doing for many years. I've been, making silly sounds with my voice. It does take a lot of, it takes a lot out of you, but I love it. And before I get to some more of my music, I wanted to maybe give you guys a little bit of the history about beatboxing. As you guys know, if you guys have been watching the stream, there are four, or arguably 5 elements of hip hop. The first is DJ, MCing, and then there's DJ, and there's breakdancing and graffiti. Now, beatboxing is arguably, I say arguably because I'm not 100% sure, but a lot of people believe it's the 5th unofficial element. And the way it started was back in the 80s when when hip hop was emerging, they would have these ciphers, in like the Bronx and Harlem, they would have these ciphers where they would, exchange rhymes with each other. But because usually they would have a machine called a beatbox. It's a physical instrumental beat making machine called a beatbox that they would use to rhyme over. The only thing is that those machines, those beatboxes, were kind of expensive, especially in the inner city neighborhoods. So what happened was like all the kids would learn how to make the sounds vocally. And that's when the when the word human beatbox was coined. I think the very first beatboxer to actually coin that term is Dougie Fresh. He's a huge pioneer, huge legend in the beatbox community. Many refer to him as the creator or the originator of the art form. And so these kids would, make these sounds. An example of an old school beat, something like a, and then people will rap over top. And then a few years down the road, this guy named Buffy from the Fat Boys. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but he came up with a whole new beatboxing technique. He did this heavy breathing, like in and out thing that I'll demonstrate in a second. And then he also is responsible for really popularizing the art form well into the 80s. One of his signature beats was something like, right? Nice and easy, kind of. And over time, so beatboxing, yeah, it had its, I have to mention that beatboxing was always there as a supporting role to the rapper, to the MC, because that's how it was born. But over the years, you'll see a progression in the art form where it becomes sort of its own unique art form, especially once it started to cross, boundaries and go overseas and into Asia. It's become something a little bit more of its own thing, And so in the 90s, beatboxing had kind of a sharp decline, to be honest. It really almost diminished and almost disappeared off the face of the earth for years, and people thought it was actually dead. Until in 2001, this guy named Rozelle, who invented singing and beatboxing at the same time, he released this album that went, and he had this one track called If Your Mother Only Knew, where he sings and beatboxes at the same time. This thing went viral back then in 2001, and that was responsible for really bringing the beatboxing back up. Fast forward, I'm going really fast through this history, but fast forward to 2000, late 2000s, when YouTube came about, that really changed the game. The internet, it changed the game because all these beatboxers were now able to share ideas so fast. If you guys just go on YouTube right now and Google beatboxing tutorials, you'll find a whole catalog of every possible sound you can imagine being taught right in front of you for free. And back then, 20 years ago, that was never a thing. And, a lot of beatboxers would hide their sounds, secret sound, almost like, how chefs have secret recipes and they don't share that. It was like that with beatboxing back then. And now it's changed totally. The community is it's very family-like. A lot of the beatboxers, they do compete through beatbox battles and whatnot, but at the end of the day, after the battles, everybody's like family. They're all friends. It's a really loving and loving community. So I'm happy to be a part of that. And yeah, I am going to show you guys right about now sort of how beatboxing has evolved with technology. As you guys see, there's a little machine here that I'm about to use. It is called a loop station. That's LOOP station. And basically, this is not a turntable. All respect to DJs, but this is not a turntable. This is a recording, a vocal recording device. So I'm going to layer some sounds on the loop station, and they're going to play back for you. So this song is called Club to Death. It's from The Matrix, and maybe we can get a little crowd participation from you guys. Check it out. All right, we're gonna lay down the hi-hats. That is going in a loop. You see it's green, that means it's going in a loop. I'm gonna add a bass on top. All right, FAU, let's do a little bit of an exercise. I know you guys are watching from home. When I say something, y'all have to repeat it, okay? I'm gonna bring the beat back just like this. Ready? When I say beat, y'all say box, beat, beat. When I say hit, y'all say hop, hit, hit. When I say beat, y'all say box, beat, beat. When I say hit, y'all say hop, hit, hit. When I say F-A, y'all say U, F-A, F-A. When I say F-A, y'all say U, F-A, F-A. When I say beat, y'all say box, beat, beat. When I say hit, y'all say hop, hit. All right, FAU. Hope you guys enjoyed that track. Let me hear it, even though I can't hear you guys from here. Let me hear it still. Let me get a pound again. That's what I'm talking about. Let me see some love in the chat. I know there's a chat feature, right? Yeah, let me get some love in the chat. Thank you, guys. I want to give a big shout out to FAU Multicultural Programming. They're the ones who put this event together. They did a wonderful job, so big round of applause for them, guys. And for my next song, this is a strange era with COVID-19, and I came up with a little bit of a song that also serves as a public service announcement, to be safe and to wear masks. The song is called Don't Cough on Me, and it goes something like this. on D. Don't cough 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 on D. Keep your freaking mask on. Don't cough on D. Don't cough on D. Mask on. Don't cough on D. Don't cough on D. Mask on. Don't cough on D. Don't cough on D. Mask on. Don't cough on D. 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 Don't cough. All right, we're gonna switch it up a little bit. This is for you guys at FAU. Hey, you. FAU, make some noise! All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that track. Hope you enjoyed that shout out. Right about now, I want to do something fun. I'm going to teach you guys how to beatbox, at least the basics of it. And for that part, we have a student here by the name of Ivan, who is brave enough to come up on stage to make these sounds. Yep. Let's give him a second. He's going to grab this microphone. And maybe you can keep your mask on, actually, because mine's not on. I'll keep mine on as well, just to be safe. You got to be safe here. All right, Ivan. Just grab that mic and come to my right. We're going to have fun with this, all right, man? It's not like some sort of test. Don't worry about it. All right, are you loud enough? Hey.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
That sounds good. All right, let's get to it. So, all of you guys watching through the stream, I want you guys to repeat it as well. Ivan's our little, what do you call it, lab rat kind of. He's going to help out. He's our little experiment. But yeah, I'm going to do it a couple of times, and then you guys feel free to repeat. You do, Ivan. So the first sound is the kick drum. I want you guys to say bogus.
Bogus.
Sweet. Bo.
Yep.
And now I want you to take out the vocals, so don't vocalize it, and just get the letter B in there like this. Yeah. Love it. How about a little closer? Bring the mic up like 2 inches up. Yeah, you see how it picks up the bass a little bit when it's closer? The second sound, guys, is the hi-hat. And it's the letter T, I want you guys to go nice and short. Lovely, lovely. And then the third sound is the snare. It's like cabbage.
Say it again.
Cabbage.
Cabbage.
Yep. Cabba.
Cabba.
Cap.
Cap.
All right. So we got this. By the way, this is modeling the sounds of a drum kit. The kick drum, which is the one you hit with your foot, is the. Then there's like the bronze metallic thing. That's the hi-hat. And then the other drum here is a snare. All right, looks like Ivan's ready to beatbox now. How about we do a couple of beats? I'm gonna simplify it for you, okay?
All right, sounds good.
We'll start slow. How about a little? All right. That's good. Good. Let's try this one. How about All right, very nice, Ivan. Are you sure you don't beatbox? Second, there's another one. Listen careful, I'm gonna do slow. All right, too easy for you, man. How about I don't know, how about you know, all of you guys watching through the stream, let's make some noise for Ivan right now. He's not done though. He's not done though. I'll have him for a little bit longer. How about he actually just did a technique called the TK. He went like, that's an actual technique, and he just did that just by yourself without even learning about it. That's it. TK. So if you go TK really fast, it becomes, and you can put that in between, you know, the snares and the kicks. All right, Ivan. We're gonna do something else. We were talking about, you know, turntablism and DJing earlier, so I thought it would be fun to teach you some vocal turntablism, vocal scratching they call it. It's when we beatboxers emulate a DJ, and I'm just gonna show you the basics. So just follow me, all you guys at home too. 1 hour 1.
Say it again.
1 hour 1.
1 hour 1.
Cool. Now I want you to make the middle word high pitched like this. 1 hour 1.
1 hour 1.
Ooh,
Right, that's nice.
okay.
And then make it a little bit faster and a little bit more enthusiasm, like really make it hit. 1 hour 1.
1 hour 1.
Yes. All right, let's do a little bit harder one. 1. How about this? 1 hour 1.
1 hour 1.
How about listen carefully. 1 hour 1.
1 hour 1.
Yep. Little faster. 1 hour 1.
1 hour 1.
1 hour 2.
1 hour 2.
1 hour Ivan.
1 hour Ivan.
Okay. How about all right, this is the last one I'll show you. 1 hour 1. One more time. 1 hour 1.
1 hour 1.
Yep. So that last two phrases, re, like R-I-E-H, something like that. Re.
Ricky.
Yeah. 1 hour 1.
1 hour 1.
1 hour 1.
1 hour 1.
1 hour Sharika.
1 hour Sharika.
That's sweet.
Some beats.
1 hour Sharika. Some beats.
Give it up for Ivan right now for doing that, man.
Thank you.
Give it a little down. You did great. Mic down there. All right. If you can mute that mic, that would be great. Cool. I think he did amazing. We're going to move on with the show. Okay. I have something. It's a little short, but I think you guys will like this one. This is for all the, oh, well, I won't say it. I forgot about the mask. Excuse me. Start over. Carol basket, 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 basket. Get Carol basket. Killed her husband, active. Can't convince me that it didn't happen. Fed it to tigers, they snacking. What's happening? Carol basket. Killed her husband, active. Can't convince me that it didn't happen. Fed it to tigers, they snacking. What's happening? Carol You're fed up to the tigers. I'm a savage, classic, bougie, ratchet, sassy, loaded, nasty, active, stupid. What's happening? What's happening? 'Cause I'm a savage. Savage. Give me the dick. Hey, Carol basket. Basket. All right, FAU. So, this is called looping, as I explained before, and I just want to touch on sort of like what's going on in the beatbox world nowadays with all the events and kind of competitions happening. So, I don't know if you guys are aware, I don't know if you guys have seen on YouTube, but beatbox battle is a thing nowadays. It wasn't a thing maybe like 12 years ago, but now it's really blown up, and it really is very similar to, you know, breakdance battles and MC battles, where you have one performer go first for a couple of minutes, and then the other competitor follows up, and then one more time, and then there's a judging panel that decides who the winner is. Now, I'm actually going to be competing in one of these competitions. It's called the Grand Beatbox Battle. It's an international competition that's happening in December, I believe, in Poland. It's going to be a strange one because it's, you know, due to COVID, there's all these precautions that they're taking, and it's going to be socially distanced. There's not going to be any crowd, but we'll be probably in like a studio similar to this one. And they have different categories for these battles, right? They have solo beatboxing, which will always be the cornerstone to beatboxing because it's the original form of the art form. And then there are other categories like tag team battles. That's when two people go at the same time versus another two people. And then they have team battles, which is 3 or more people in the group. And they also have something called loop station battles, which is what I am a specialist in. I'm actually the 2018 American Loop Station Champion. I won that in 2018 representing New York. And because of that, I'll be performing at this international contest that's happening in December. So that's a little bit of background about the battles. The community is amazing. I know, like, when we compete, people, all these beatboxers, they pour their souls into the preparation, right? Into preparation because these guys want to win, because it means the world to them. And they go at it really aggressively in the battles, but the interesting part about the community aspect is that after the battle, you will literally watch them, you know, during the battle, they'll be like going at each other, even throwing disses and doing everything they can to win. But immediately after, they follow up with a nice little hug or like a high five, and they are all friends. So, with that being said, we are gonna take a little break.
So the first element of hip hop that we're going to talk about is graffiti, also known as aerosol, burning, tagging, wild style, throwing up. There's so many different words to characterize graffiti, but graffiti is the art of writing messages and drawing images in public spaces, which was another way for people to protest government policies and to mark their territory. Many different mediums were used in graffiti, but the most popular one is spray paint. Graffiti is still seen as the visual component of hip hop and is used today to make social commentary about the ills of society.
All right, guys. So as I was describing the beatbox battle scene, how it's a very nice community, and I love that about beatboxing because a lot of different communities, there's a lot of kind of animosity and hate towards each other. But beatboxing, for some reason, did not fall into that, trap. So if any of you guys like beatboxing, do learn it. I haven't killed it. I'm sure you guys can too. So this next track is a track that I'm preparing for this contest called the Grand Beatbox Battle. I'm going to be performing. It's an original song, and a lot of the sounds are going to be my voice, but I'm also going to modify the sounds with the buttons on this machine to make it sound kind of more electronic. Check it out. All right, FAU. I have one more song for you guys, but before that, we're going to take a little break.
So the fifth element of hip hop, which is also known as the lost element of hip hop, is knowledge. And knowledge, an element made by African Bambaataa and the Zulu nation, is the glue that holds the artistic elements within the context of hip hop together. Without knowledge, a person who can rap will never be an MC. A person who can mix records on a turntable can never be considered a DJ if he or she doesn't have knowledge. Spinning on your head without possessing knowledge only makes you capable of getting dizzy. Tagging the walls with graffiti without knowledge is just vandalism. Knowledge is the element that explains the difference between mainstream society and the hip-hop community. It helps the people of hip-hop learn about and embrace their differences from language to physical ability. It reaches the hip-hop community and teaches the hip-hop community on how to properly express themselves for the entire world to experience. Knowledge can be seen in numerous ways. It explains the reasons why folks who are in tune with hip-hop can rhyme over any beat about political and social issues. For example, if you put a rapper on the spot and ask them to rap about healthcare reform, and this person says one line about healthcare and then 7 lines about how great they can rap, or how they can get rich, or how they can have sex with women, or how they be stunting, then that person lacks knowledge. Knowledge is known as the forgotten element of hip-hop because mainstream rappers today portray hip-hop in a negative light. True, organic hip-hop is not about objectifying women, stunting, killing, or getting high. These portrayals of hip-hop are pushed by record companies who glorify negative images of black and brown youth. Hip-hop as a culture is supposed to enlighten, lift up, and connect people through song, art, dance, rhythm, and music. It's supposed to be socially conscious and real about the unspoken problems and issues within our society. Its purpose to shed light on topics that are uncomfortable and shied away from in mainstream context.
All right, FAU. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning into the show. It's a pleasure to have one more song for you guys. This song is called Bring the House Down, and that is what I intend to do with the song. So if you guys are watching, at home, I think I'm going to need some energy for this one because we're going to close out with a freaking bang, all right? Break it down.
FAU, are y'all ready to rock with me? 1, 2, 3, get it going. So hands up.
All right, FAU, my name is Sun Beats. Once again, Sun Beats from New York City. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. I want to give a big thank you and a big shout out once again to FAU Multicultural Programming. They're the ones who put this event together, and everybody else, helping out with the sound and all that. We had some issues earlier, but we resolved them amazingly. So big shout out to all of you guys. Have a great school year, study hard, and we'll beat this COVID thing in no time. Peace out.
Well, I've talked a long time about all of these elements. I hope that you gained something from this very quick hip-hop lesson. If you have more questions or want to learn more about hip-hop or just have a conversation, please reach out to me via Twitter or you can email me. So my Twitter is bknightlee at Twitter, and that is BNIGHTLEE1 at Twitter, or you can email me at bnightingalelee@fau.edu. Also, be on the lookout for a hip-hop course offered here at FAU within the next year. Of course, facilitated by me, Dr. Nightingale Lee. Hey, that rhymed. So I don't have this course created as of yet, but I feel like the momentum of the moment is going to propel us to create a hip-hop based course. So I hope to see you there. I hope, again, you have learned something from this time. I want to connect with you in some way, shape, or form. Please remember to keep hip-hop alive in your hearts and your minds. And know that the true elements of hip-hop are grounded in something that is supposed to uplift us, enlighten us, and take us to the next level. I wish you all adieu, peace, and love.